Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel BethChatsBooks. Now today I decided I should do a tag video because I mentioned in a previous video how I wanted to do a tag to kind of get back in with the community and see what's popular, and it's been a while since I've done a tag. So I'm very lucky in some ways that the Lawn Gnome was messaging me recently and told me that this is the new craze, the new big tag since the Booktube newbie tag. So thank you, Lawn Gnome, for kind of putting it on my radar, because recently I haven't really been watching a lot of Booktube and I haven't really felt like I've fully integrated back into the community. So that little bit of a heads up was really useful. So I've just gone and watched the original tag video. So the original video for this tag was made by Books with Alyssa J. And this is called the Booktube Real Talk tag. So I've just watched her video on it and I have decided that I will participate. So I'm not really going to tag anybody as such because I've heard that it's blown up already and everybody's been doing it. So if you haven't been tagged and you'd like to do it, like I sometimes do say on other tags, you are more than welcome to do the tag and just say I've tagged you, because I don't know who's done it and who hasn't, and I'm really kind of out of the Booktube loop. But without further ado, let's get into this tag. So, question number 1 is, what's something nobody told you about Booktube before you started your channel? The first major thing is nobody told me how lengthy the process is and how many little and fundamental decisions you have to constantly make. So the editing process is really long. I'm not a particularly vain person, so I don't spend a long time on my thumbnails, but a lot of people probably do. There's so many different apps to get loads of different editing and filters and different things on your thumbnails, on your videos. The editing can be extensive. You can add music, you can do fancy things that kind of cut out a scene or edit smoother. Now I just am really here and motivated by producing content that I'm passionate about. But the editing wasn't something that I was really excited about making creatively. So I just use iMovie on my iPad and I just do simple edits and simple cuts. So it's not the most beautiful editing process, but nobody really told me how long that is. And then you've got to decide what image you want as your thumbnail. A lot of people obviously just do pictures of themselves, like myself. But then what kind of style of writing do you want? Do you want a picture on it? What colour schemes do you want in the background? So there's a lot of things that I never even thought when I first started my channel of how to present it. And then in terms of who's going to watch it, is it clickable? Do people want to watch your channel? All these things factor into what decisions you make in regard to your thumbnails and your video content. And these were things I just simply did not think about when I started the channel. And then question number 2, what is your opinion on typical Booktube videos, wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls? So I've recently stopped doing TBRs purely because my reading went through a kind of fluctuation in which it wasn't as consistent as it previously had been, and I was feeling mass pressure to constantly have a TBR ready, and a lot of the times the TBRs that I picked and showed to you on my videos are books that I really didn't want to read that month. And then that made it more of a slog to read, so I decided to get rid of them. I love watching a TBR though, because I love being nosy and seeing what people are up to. Same with wrap-ups. I love to know what people thought about a book, especially if it's on my bookshelf and I'm thinking about reading it in the next few months. And I also like hauls. I love seeing people buy new books because I love buying books. However, hauls I haven't done for a very long time because I put myself on a book buying ban, which for quite a long time I've been quite faithful to, which I didn't expect, but it's because I have so many books. I have a wardrobe and half my wardrobe space is full of books, some read, some unread. I have a bookshelf in the other room that's got some read, some unread on it. So my boyfriend has kindly, he works in a factory, so he's kindly got me cardboard boxes because we've kind of decided that we really need to get them out, really have a rifle through which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. And then I can kind of get a clearer sense. So I decided when I realised that that was kind of out of control, that I shouldn't be buying any more books. So, you know, eventually when it goes down and I run out, fingers crossed, because I'm starting to get back on with reading, I can buy new books, but I love watching all those videos, and I think there's nothing wrong with typical Booktube content, because that's what drew me to Booktube in the first place, because I was watching people's hauls, I was watching people's wrap-ups, I was fascinated by the whole plethora of different opinions on one book and maybe one well-known book. So that's how I got into it, because when I was doing my university degree, I was reading books for my course and I was researching, and I came across Booktube videos of the books I was reading and what people felt about them, and it kind of opened up that world for me. So I love typical Booktube. Number 3, what is an assumption you had about Booktube before you joined? Was it proven to be correct or not? I had an assumption that Booktube was going to be a very friendly and open community, and that assumption was proved correct. From the minute I posted my first video, I had so many comments, because you usually do on your very first video because you're kind of introduced into the community. But I've met so many people through Booktube that I'm still in contact with now through my channel, or we message on Twitter or Instagram, and authors alike, and a lot of channels that are a lot bigger and better than mine. And I think that's so lovely that I've met people who genuinely care about my content, me as a person, what I'm reading and how I'm progressing, not just in Booktube but in life. And that blew me away. It kind of exceeded my expectations. I thought people would be friendly and nice and then that would be it. But the fact that I've managed to maintain relationships through this community has been the best thing about this whole experience, and it really blew me away. Booktube really is one of the friendliest places to be on the YouTube community, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it. Number 4, what is something you've done that has actually helped you grow your audience? So what I would advise is, if you have passions and they're outside of the Booktube community, for example, your passion for drawing or for music, you've got a passion for different languages, you are passionate about the environment, about mental health, about publishing. If you have something outside of the scope of Booktube and you decide to raise it on your channel and kind of show a more holistic view of yourself through your channel, I really think that helps grow your audience, because people see you as more authentic. They get to know more about you, and a lot of the times people aren't just one-sided. We all love books, and that's a common theme, but we've all got very different passions, and to be able to see that really helps your audience and your fans really get to know you more holistically, a better representation. So I know that some of my biggest watched videos have been nothing to do with Booktube. They've been about my Canada experience, or they've been about mental health or other things like that. So I would encourage you to not feel ashamed or shy about doing videos that are kind of outside the Booktube scope, because I've noticed that they really increase your audience and your watch, because people kind of are able to connect with you in a more human way, to see things other than your standard typical Booktube content. And number 5, what is a common mistake you see new Booktubers making, or one that you made? I think the biggest mistake that Booktubers make is that the new Booktubers, is that you have this perception of what you're meant to be to fit into the Booktube community. So at the beginning I came across as very shy in my very first video. I was very self-conscious and I didn't really know how to make people want to watch me. But I think the more you get in your head, especially as a new Booktuber, of how can I be clickable and watchable, and how can people like me, and how can I grow, and this kind of obsession with how many subscribers you've got, how many people are watching your video, really takes away from the experience. So I think the best thing to do as a new Booktuber is forget about your subscriber count, forget about your watch count, because some channels I've seen that are absolutely phenomenal have over 6 months not grown very much at all, and then I've seen other channels that I've liked but not loved, and they've grown exponentially within a 6-month period. So it's not a reflection on you and your channel, and it's not a reflection on your content if you are a slow grower. But what I would say is just be your authentic self. I tried gimmicks, I tried loads of things at the beginning, trying to be funny, and I watched my videos back and realised that it was very put on, it wasn't genuine and authentic. And then the sooner I just kind of accepted that I might not be as bubbly and vivacious and extra energy as some of these really big Booktubers, this is my authentic self. I'm not putting anything on, and it made the whole filming process so much easier for me because I felt comfortable and I felt like I could be my authentic self. And what I noticed is when I was being authentic, when I was just talking about the books and the things that I was passionate about, that was when I was getting really good feedback and I was building genuine friendships with people on Booktube, because there was no longer this disconnect between me and my video making. So I would just encourage new booktubers, please don't worry about your subscription count, and please don't worry about trying to impress people. The people that will come to your channel will love you for you and your authentic self, and that might not bring you all the subscribers that these bigger booktubers have, but everybody is precious. And to me, my subscription count is so important to me, because every single one of those people I feel connected to, and I've not got loads of fangirls just flocking because I've got a certain number. Number 6, what are your thoughts working with publishers and sponsorships? I have no issue with people working with sponsorships or publishers. I mean, I have had a lot of people that have got self-published books in the past sent me books, and occasionally I have requested books from publishers and I have been given them, and I've had poetry collections from smaller publishing houses being sent to me. And that was fantastic. That was such a lovely experience, because I was able to show people these books that I had read, and I was building up relationships with publishers. Because I've been on a break for a while and my channel hasn't grown, that hasn't really developed as I had wanted it to. But I think it's a really positive thing if you can build the relationships between the publishers and Booktube. It's a new avenue to kind of bring books to more people and the experience of reading. And there really is nothing quite like getting book post. It is a pleasure and a treat, and I have no problem with it, and I have no problem with other people doing sponsorships. I just hope that sponsorships don't encourage people to lie about books. But overall, publishers are quite good in Booktube. They know when they give you the book that you're going to give an honest review, and I have personally never felt pressured by any publishers to lie or to rate the book if I didn't enjoy it. So I have no issues with that. And then number 7, do you think Booktube is dying? I do not think Booktube is dying. However, when I started, Booktube was entirely different. I had been watching Booktube for about a year before I started doing my videos, and it was growing rapidly, and since then it has grown rapidly. And what has happened due to that is that I've really struggled and felt overwhelmed to connect with new channels and to connect with ongoing channels that I love, because it feels sometimes like Booktube is saturated with so many people, and I personally find that a little bit anxious to try and to wade through it all and find new channels and find other things, because it starts to make you competitive, because there's so many people on Booktube. It makes you be sometimes quite despondent about channels, because you've got to select which of these channels that are all over the shop that you're going to invest in. And that's something I don't quite like, because it makes us disrespect other channels that probably have the same strong content as others, but it creates this competitive disconnect. However, I love that Booktube is growing and developing. I just personally find it quite stressful and difficult to navigate, because it is ever growing. That's why I understand things like my own channel have not developed at the rate that I wanted it to, because there's just so many channels out there. But to answer that question, it's not dying. If anything, it's growing at a rapid pace, and that's a fantastic thing, but there are obviously consequences to that as well. And then number 8 says tag your friends. I tag anyone and everyone who hasn't done it. I think this is a fantastic tag. It's a great one because you don't have to run around trying to find books that are relevant to the questions. This is just one where people can kind of be honest about how they feel about the Booktube community and being part of that. So thank you so much to Lord Gnome for showing me this video, and thank you so much to Alyssa for creating this tag. I thoroughly enjoyed participating in it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back very soon with a brand new video. Bye now.